Jaime Trujillo. MDG Fuel 1 team, Mike McColgan and Jason Gavados out of Chesapeake Bay. Velocity Powerboats, former NFL veteran Bob Spitulski driving, Scott McCormick, president of Velocity on throttles. Team First Responders, Charlie Widener, Bruce Dudley, and then running alone in C-Class, Cat 300 rather, Jack Hemmer with Connor Langheim and Julian Maldonado filling in for his brother Ricardo because Ricardo broke his foot. So Julian's pulling triple duty today. So the Heat might be watching him a little bit to see if but he's from Palmetto, so I think he's used to it.
Yeah, so
here we go. We're getting him on plane.
Pace boat has the yellow flag up, and he's going to get the class 500 and 600 boats up. You can see the mini jackhammer on the bottom of your screen. They'll start to the outside running unopposed. And this is bracketed class racing. They're speed bracketed, and both the class 500 and 600 boats are limited to 70 miles per hour. And with conditions like this, they're going to really have to watch their GPSs. Breakouts will cost you penalties and potentially can cost you the race.
A green flag, so they are up and running.
Now the race is on in bracket class here. We are underway. The XINSURANCE Clearwater Nationals, day 2, finishing up the World Powerboat Race Association and Race World Offshore season. Here come our bracketed boats. They're on the outbound leg.
The Marauders are in the inside lane in Fuel 1 team. I think that's back in action right next to him in the Phantom. We'll have to see if we can get a closer look at who the other boats are. I know the black boat all the way out to the right is Fuel 1 MDG, that very distinct Defender 26 hull out of Maryland, MDG performance engine.
So 7 laps today for both of these classes.
And when they come by, start, finish, this time around it starts the race. This is the start of their first lap. And there's the jackhammer. That is an Argo catamaran built over in, I think, Finland. But back to the lead. Fuel 1. And look at the little boat go out, putting on a show here.
Well, they're not speed bracketed. So.
No, they're not. They can just... They've told me in the right water that boat will push 100 miles an hour. So...
the other boat in the class having some technical issues with a scratch. The XINSURANCE Cat 300 boat. And into the southbound turn. It's a 3-pin turn, 5-mile course, probably more like 5.2 miles around this course, pin to pin. And
Team 1 followed by Back in Action, and then Tough Noogies, the new super boat that was rigged up at Ceres Racing, is running in 3rd.
And then on the north end of the turn, another 3-pin turn, 2A, 2B, 2C, and they're off on the long leg. A long oval or a paper clip course running right down the beach.
5 miles. The both classes will run 7 laps, and then the Cat 300 boat is running 6 laps. But they're tightly packed. That's the way bracket class racing works. If one pulls ahead of the other on a straightaway, it's likely that they're going to exceed the speed limit, because it's not as if the other throttlemen aren't looking at their GPS knowing how fast they're running.
Yeah, we're looking at Back in Action, the team from Big Pine Key, Florida, Darren Threlkeld and Jimmy Jensen. Used to race with Bobby Kyber. But watch the XINSURANCE Helicam shot here overhead.
This is the 29 Warlock. Warlocks were built in California, and this is one of the most popular Factory 1 boats when they all used to have a 500 horse Mercury engine in it. And there's a few of these boats still around racing in brackets, and that's the point of brackets. It gives someone who owns a boat that might not fit in the quote-unquote professional classes of today somewhere to race. This is a Carolina racing engine.
The Marauders, senior and junior, Damon Marauda Jr. and senior.
Boat's running very clean. You can see the difference right there between a V-bottom and a catamaran.
Now, because they're running unopposed, the Cat 300 boat is going to stay way to the outside, not get in front of the boats that are running in class.
Right. That's the Phantom, the Back in Action. And Tough Noogies is trying to make a run up on the inside of them in the 30-foot super boat, which that boat would probably like a little more bump out here today. The super boats like the rough water.
the Tough Noogies and back in action.
Great battle for second place right now in bracket 500.
See the remaining fleet of the bracket 600 teams.
Yep, looks
coming
like
to view.
the MDG Fuel 1 has got a close lead over that. I'm thinking that's Velocity Powerboats in second, but I can't tell from here. And back to the battle for second and third in bracket 500. Tough Noogie should have a little bit of an advantage running the shorter course on the inside. I think this is only their second or third race, so they're stepping right into it. Good competitive run.
But the Fuel1Team.com is running very well.
And this is the former national champion in the class when it good cars, I think it was, with Elijah Kingery and Craig Delfato. So it's a proven winner. You can see when they come out of the water, that is a single step. There's a step in the bottom. Looks like it's just about right where beneath where the crew sits. You can see a little notch there, and that just helps the boat run level and gets a little aeration under the boat to have it reduce friction, for lack of a better term, with the surface of the water.
Heading into the 3-pin turn.
That's a nice turn. No one's going to get inside that.
Still the
Tough Noogies and back in action.
Yeah, they're staying close to each other.
Yeah, Tough Noogies might have pulled ahead there, it looks like, with the tighter line. The Fuel1Team.com back out front. The Marauders have been racing for a while. We've seen them in a few different boats in bracket classes through the years.
Bracket class 600 boats will be coming around for their first lap. You can see the outbound leg. There's the spectator course, which it's not very far away. And as the day goes on, we get a lot of wave action, wash tub effect from these boats. And it can bump up a little bit. Well, I would say today is definitely less wind and flatter out there.
And there's not as much haze. It's a much clearer day. So that the engine should like that better because there's not as much wetness and mist in the air. Tough Noogies has pulled ahead a little bit on back in action, but they're not making up ground on Fuel 1 Team, rather, excuse me.
Big spectator fleet already building as we look overhead at Tough Noogies, Matt Ressa and Gavin Jafarian out of Powder Hill, Massachusetts, a 30-foot superboat with Saris racing engines.
Yep, the Saris boys will be in Key West in 2 boats this year. Johnny and Jason will run their Scorpion, and then Johnny will be with in the moderation boat. Can't remember the owner's name right now, I apologize.
So back to our overall leaders, and you can see trailing off to the left side of the screen, the boats following in bracket class 600.
Still looks like the black Defender MDG Fuel 1 is out front. Let's see if we can keep an eye on that. Here comes the Cat 300 boat, the Argo. Great Dip Manatee Marine Unlimited. And the throttleman, Julian Maldonado, is a co-owner of that company. So he's basically in these boats all the time.
Yeah, they say these boats can run up to 100 miles an hour, but it's a little light at that speed. A little dicey.
Conversely, this is a Cadillac ride for the 30-foot superboat with the big Saris big block in it. They look like they're getting a very smooth ride, and they're being very well-tempered, trying not to chase down the leaders, staying within their bracket. I'm not sure I could do that.
Yeah.
If I'm racing someone, I'm going to use as much performance as I can to try to pass them.
So in the Fuel1Team.com, Damon Murata Jr. and Sr. from Port Everglades and the Warlock with the Carolina Racing engines continues to lead after lap number 2 of 7. Tough Noogies has moved up to second, back in action in third, ahead of the Murata team. Bracket class racing brings back nostalgic boats, great historic boats, puts them back into offshore racing competition.
When the Fuel 1 team ran as Bulletproof and good cars, I remember they had suspension seats in that boat. I think it was the only one in the class. I'm not sure if it still has them, but that would certainly smooth out the ride when the water does get rough.
Tough Noogies continue to hold down second here. A couple laps in out of 7.
Yep, there's MDG Fuel 1 leading, we believe, leading bracket 600. And they should be, the C boat, the Cat 300 boat was just down in the middle of the course, maybe a Guardian issue. Let's see if they get back running again. But I would think bracket 600 would be on the same lap as the 500 boats.
The 500 boats, open cockpit, V-bottom only, single stern drive boats, naturally aspirated engines, bracketed speed 70 miles per hour.
.30-foot superboat built on Long Island, also a single step. The step's a little farther back. You can see it just basically under where the rear seat would be when the boat gets up and running a little high. Let's see if Tough Noogies, I mean, it looks to me like they're trying to make a run here. Maybe the Murata's slowed down a little, or Tough Noogies is just running right on the speed limit. They've definitely closed the gap.
So if you're new to bracketed class racing, the throttle, I mean, in any offshore boat, you have a driver and the throttle man, one handling the steering of the boat, the other the trim and the propulsion. And it looks like Tough Noogies made some distance there.
It looks like they may have made a pass.
And is the Fuel 1 boat slowing? It appears.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering if something's going on there.
Well, you know, back to bracketed class racing. I mean, are they exceeding the speed limit?
Right.
We won't know until they turn their V-box chip in and see. But it appears that the Muratas are picking up speed again.
And the way the rules work with the brackets is like whoever breaks out or exceeds 75 miles an hour the least number of times,
70, right?
They're the ones that will be penalized the least number of times and should be the ones that win the race.
So the throttleman is watching that GPS and
Yep.
it has to keep that speed right underneath whatever the speed limit is. And now they're deck to deck.
And this is where it becomes really tough to not just say, okay, well, I want to beat this guy. So this is where the discipline of bracket class racing really comes into it. But it still looks like a good battle.
It's a great battle, and they were a good 8-9 boat lengths back. And they came into this lap, and now they've pulled up side to side. And as they head into the turn, looks like Tough Noogies might have the tighter line around.
Yeah, to see if they can hold that line. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
they
still
do.
a rookie team, but those superboats do turn very well, especially that 30.
Yeah, the Muratas are going to dive in and cross the wake and
See if they can dive to the pin on the exit. Maybe set up something for the far end if they can pull alongside. We did just see the Cat 300 boat is out of the race. The hatch is up and the guys are sitting on top of the canopy. So tough day for them. Julian gets 2 more shots in super stock and factory stock later today. So
they ran a couple of laps, and knowing that he's got, you know, triple duty, they may have called it a day.
yeah, they may have. And Connor Langheim, who drives the boat, will want to run in Key West for sure. So maybe they're just thinking, let's save the equipment. But you can't blame them. But this,
it appears that they have fallen into second. You can see the wake.
You can see the wake
on the inside of the boat, and Tough
Tough
Noogies
is out front. And if I'm not mistaken, they won their debut race in Michigan City after all the bracketology was worked out. Saris Racing engines were all on the podium in Michigan City, so I guess we're going to have to find out the origin of the name. Okay, so we've got, Fuel 1. Oh, the standings for the season. Back in Action is in second place, and Tough Noogies was in third. So we'll have to see how this plays out for points as well.
Yep, the national point standings and the trophies being handed out tonight at the awards at Marina Cantina here in Clearwater, 6 to 7:30. It does look like Tough Noogies continues to lead in this bracket 500 class. We have 7 boats out on the course, watching bracket class 500 racing right now.
They would be finishing their 4th lap. Correct?
That's right.
So this would be their first complete lap in the lead. But the Marauders aren't letting them go. They're trying to keep them in range.
Big Pine Key, Florida, another team from the home of the World Championships, which has been known to have a lot of race teams tour the National Series. Jimmy Jensen paired up with Bobby Kyber,
right now
who's a longtime racer, now running his own boat along with Darren Threlkeld, 30-foot Phantom with the 600 Merc.
And it's good to see that the guys in the framed boat from Key West were able to get that out of the water and emptied after they had a hull fracture, basically.
Yep.
Started taking on water yesterday. They were very grateful to the tow teams and the response teams for getting that boat back to the pits and getting it on the crane.
Yep, one of 3 teams here in Clearwater out of the home of the World Championships, including Island Escapes, which is running currently in bracket class 600.
Yep.
So Tough Noogies comes through on lap number 4, continuing to lead here now. Fuel 1 team in second, back in action in third.
And Fuel 1 is keeping them close. They're keeping them honest. Now, when you have the bigger classes later in the day, a lot of those boats will have people on shore with communication telling them where the other boats are, because these guys can turn around and see. Even, with the full face helmet, they can still kind of turn around and get a peek at where their competition is. So they don't really need the on-land spotters.
Following our leaders right now in bracket class 500. Lindsay of XINSURANCE flying the XINSURANCE Helicam, giving us aerial shots throughout today's action at the Clearwater Nationals.
And here's MDG Fuel 1 leading class 600. That's the end of their 4th lap as well, I believe. It looks like Velocity Powerboats in second place. We'll see when they make the turn and come by, but that looks like the 26 Velocity with Scott McCormick and Bob Spitulski. Now we're back to the battle for the lead in 500 because it's not done.
Putting on the show today, Tough Noogies, huh?
Yeah, the boat looks great. Brand new boat this year.
Oh, great shot.
That tells you even in quote-unquote calm water, you still get tousled around in a turn, especially if you're hitting wakes, and it's never as smooth as you think. And I guarantee you, you get out of a boat and you always think the guy that you were racing against, why do you look like you were running so smooth and we were getting banged around? Yep, this is the Team Velocity boat. The white boat to your left is chasing the MDG Fuel 1, which is a 26 Protector. It's a pretty rare hull with very interesting deck lines. You'll see when it comes by, it kind of drops just behind the driver, and the co-pilot almost looks like it's where you'd have a gun sticking out, since it's called a Protector. But this boat is a derivative of the Velocity Velociraptor. And I believe the kind of low profile that ran in Factory 1 as well and was real popular. Scott McCormick, the president of Velocity, has done a good job of getting more boats out, and he recently bought the molds for Checkmate powerboats.
Tough Nuggies has spread its lead just a bit here as we've gone a couple laps since they've taken first place.
Yeah, this is finishing lap 5.
Yep. There's 5 of 7.
And here's back in action. The Phantoms do very well in this class, and in many of the bracket classes, really. So good to see these boats out here running. Sarasota-based manufacturer, Phantom Powerboats. Will Smith. Fuel 1 team. Little chine walk there, getting caught in the wakes. That gave Tough Noogies a chance to open up its lead.
You can see how close that yellow buoy, the inbound and outbound legs are.
Yeah.
The spectator fleet on the
outside.
Yeah, the outside, the west side of the course. And there you'll see the Class 600 boats now coming across and heading towards the start-finish line. And then finally, we did a look at.
Well, here's the Islandscapes boat. This is the only outboard power boat in Class 600.
Cassie Jotlik and Jaime Trujillo, Key West, Florida, with a 450R on that 23 Harari, the Manatee Marine.
This is the Fuel 1 MDG. The Gavados family builds and rigs, do a lot of custom work on high-performance boats in the Chesapeake Bay area. Dave Gavados has been doing this stuff a long time. Jason's dad, very respected engine builder and rigger. Jason certainly has it things going well right now. Never like to jinx anybody.
Chasing down the Velocity.
The innovation-powered Velocity 26. Bob Spitulski, the former NFL linebacker, played many years for the Seahawks. So you hope that you don't do anything to upset him. He is a big dude, but always makes a point to come up and say hello. One of the nicest guys you'll meet in the pits.
In the boat was Scott McCormick. So we get an overhead view of the north end of the course. Again, 3 pins on each end. There's Velocity once again. Scott McCormick. Innovation Marine Power, 600 horse.
Sarasota company. Been around a long time, and they have a whole other division they can't tell you about because everything they do is for the military. But they do some pretty cool stuff down there that a lot of people don't get to see. But MDGs, coming into the south end of the course. Looks to be comfortably where they want to be. Let's see if Spitolsky and McCormick can put up a charge. Well, we're hearing that back in action might have missed a buoy, but I don't think it would be very impactful because they're running in third anyway out of 3 boats. So
there's the velocity again. Yep, that wouldn't change their place. Of course, all of this is subject to their data cards being read by race inspection, checking them for breakouts. This is the one class we have to say, unofficial results at the end. They're notorious for having 1 or 2 breakouts in each class, and sometimes as many as 10, which is maddening for race scores because you have to go through all the tiebreakers. But they did change the rule on the breakout.
Right. It used to be that. For earlier this year, it was basically 0 tolerance. If you broke out, you were done. Now you get a couple of seconds, basically, to get it back in. And like we talked about before, the fewest number of breakouts would give you the best chance of winning. These are the guys out of, you got to say this right, like you're from outside of Boston. It's Haverhill.
Haverhill. Well,
it's not Haverhill.
Haverhill. Thank you. Well, I mean, you're one of those yahoos from up northeast, so you should know, right? I'll leave it to you.
Yahoo, huh?
Yeah, Yahoo. And my buddy Eric Colby. We will welcome you to Key West very soon, my friend.
Looking forward to it as always. And here's the guys from Chesapeake Bay. Jason Gavados, Mike McColgan. If the name McColgan sounds familiar, he also runs the, he drives the Rum Runners. No, he doesn't drive Rum Runners, I don't think. No, that's Tom Crowley. Mike McColgan runs when the boat runs, he runs a Kryptonite in one of the other bracket classes. But here's Islandscapes.
Boat from Manatee Marine.
Yep. That's an H-Craft, isn't it?
Yeah, H-Craft. Cassie Jotlick and Jaime Trujillo from Key West. And beautiful livery on that. The paint.
It's a pretty paint job.
Isn't it? I really like that.
Twin step hull. And it's almost a center console look. You can see the way they're very tight side by side.
They can multi-purpose that and take it out to the sandbars and the Keys, you know. Get a good shot of Islandscapes. Welcome to Offshore Racing.
Second race for them. It looks to me like that I would have them in third.
Agreed.
And bracket 600. We'll have to see.
I don't see much of there's team first responders. 609.
The interesting thing is, this is where it's getting confusing for us. 609 and 611 both actually have 611 on the side.
That's right. Okay.
So,
yeah, the ultimate racing experience boat, known as the Bat Boat for many years. It's unusual one design wing formation astern. Got Charlie Widener and Bruce Dudley. It's got 350 Volvo Penta power in it.
All right, this is what the nickname for this design is, a bat boat. And it's almost like having, you know, I don't want to say training wheels, but, you know, those fins do dig in a turn and keep it from getting upended worse than a bad chime walk. It'll settle the boat down. And that's designed by a gentleman over in Sweden named Aki Mannerfelt, who many people built their own iterations of the quote-unquote bat boat. And here's Tough Noogies, hands in the air.
Yeah, they're
unofficial winners.
Yep, they're claiming victory, and the checker flag is out for Tough Noogies. Matt Reska and Gavin Jafarian, 30-foot super boat with the Saris racing engine. Saris wins again.
So since they're from Massachusetts, they're like wicked happy right now, dude.
Bless you. Thank you for taking the lead there. Second place will go to the Fuel1Team.com. Damon Murata Jr. and Damon Murata Sr. in the 29 Warlock with Caroline Racing Power.
Yep. Fuel One team. Nice run. You finish on the podium and you can drive your own boat back to the docks, it's a good day.
That's right. And back in action, the team from Big Pine Key, Florida, taking third. And we'll look to see more from these teams at the 44th Annual Key West World Championships. 3 days of racing the first week in November. And here is our finish in bracket class 600.
Yeah, Defender is holding its lead. MDG rather, Fuel One. They've got the Fuel One sponsorship this weekend, so the Team Velocity's trying to make a run on them, but I don't think it's going to happen for them today. Yep, they just crossed. There's the checkered flag, so well done for Jason and Mike. Fuel One team, pretty good spending for their promotions. A first place and a second. And there's Team Velocity.
Back to our winners in bracket class 600. There's the Bat Boat again.
Team
Ultimate
First
Racing
Responders.
Experience, Team First Responders, and it looks like they're potentially in position to have third. We'll see where they are in relation to Islandscapes.
One of the very few boats in offshore racing with a Volvo Penta outdrive. I believe it's a dual prop or a DPX, but it is a twin prop drive. Yeah, I'm curious to see where Islandscapes might be. Oh, Islandscapes had a Guardian issue, so now it looks like they're back up and running, but it looks like First Responders probably got around them to take the final spot on the podium. So good for them. The First Responders team, this is not their only venture. They're involved in NASCAR. They have a Formula One tunnel boat. They go to the Children's Hospital and use the Bat Boat, and they're in parades. So very
Hunter Langheim.
Very much involved in charity.
Yeah. Waving the checkered flag after a 2-lap standalone race for them. But the Langheims are passionate.
You toughed that one out, Connor.
Handing out the checkered flag now to the Tough Noogies team.
Yeah, Julian Maldonado must have been watching the live stream after they pulled off the course, because he texted me and said, not broken down, just pulled off because we don't want to disturb anyone's race, and we're not racing anyone.
As you can see, we have a bit of a breeze now coming around. Nothing significant, but at least to cool us off as we get a shot of Islandscapes. Casey Jotlik and Jaime Trujillo from Key West got that 450R running after a guarding issue. They'll take fourth here in bracket class 600. So all of our boats across. He's our winner in bracket class 500 here.
Well done.
Good showing of bracketed class racers here in Clearwater. And that's going to do it over the 2 days. Finish up.
For them to haul down here to Clearwater to race from Massachusetts could be an indicator that they felt like they needed to qualify to make sure they could go to Key West.
Looking at